First at 4, a peeping Tom on a local college campus. We have an alert that has a lot of students and their parents concerned. Irma's aftermath takes a shocking turn. The discovery inside this nursing home that's been difficult for many people to understand. Paula.
Hi, Karen. Yeah, a local activist who's helped thousands in the Metro Detroit area has actually survived the ordeal of Irma in the island of St. Thomas. We have her dramatic story and her pleas for help. Ben?
Paula, and what is left of that once powerful storm is just some clouds and very light sprinkles. We'll see how that affects your drive home, plus a warmer weekend. All right now, First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
First at 4, new devastation and new danger. Hurricane Irma has left a deep, painful mark on the state of Florida. Residents of the Florida Keys are assessing the damage, but local officials say more homes may have survived than previously predicted. No matter what, recovery will take a long time. Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. More than 9 million residents are still without power at this hour. That has put many people at risk for carbon monoxide fumes if they don't use their generators properly. At least 5 have died. In a shocking discovery at a Florida nursing home, 6 senior citizens have died. Devin Skillion is in the newsroom following this criminal investigation. Devin.
Exactly, Karen. This is happening in Hollywood, Florida, a town just south of Fort Lauderdale. And right now officials are working to determine how these 6 people lost their lives. But here is what we know so far. Emergency responders said they were called shortly after 4 a.m. this morning. When they arrived, they found at least 3 residents dead inside the building. They evacuated nearly 120 others. And then later at the hospital, 3 others were declared dead. Officials say the center has been without power since Hurricane Irma hit on Sunday, and they believe power loss and the intense heat could be connected to the deaths.
Right now, the building has been sealed off and we're conducting a criminal investigation inside. We believe at this time they may be related to the loss of power and the storm, but we're conducting a criminal investigation, not ruling anything out at this time.
Now, they are also looking to see whether carbon monoxide might have been involved. Governor Rick Scott called on emergency workers to check on nursing homes everywhere and assisted living facilities. His tweet was, quote, "I am demanding answers." Tomorrow, President Trump's going to head back to Florida to survey the damage as the state continues what is going to be, of course, a very long road to recovery. Karen, back to you.
All right, thank you, Devin. Meantime, Florida Governor Rick Scott has been checking on Irma's damage all across the state. Today, he viewed the record-setting floods near Jacksonville. He was on Black Creek, which crested yesterday, swamping homes and sparking a number of rescues. The governor says the main goal right now is saving lives and getting power restored as quickly as possible. Several Caribbean islands are also desperately trying to pick up the pieces. This is new video from a charity working in the British Virgin Islands. About 90% of the island of Tortola is still without mobile communication. Tourists and evacuees are being picked up from islands like this, St. Martin and St. Thomas, finding refuge in Puerto Rico.
We have found very, very horrifying experience. We have found people that lost everything.
I've been fired. I've been fired by Hurricane Irma because my house, my business, both my vehicles, everything is gone.
The U.S. military is also bringing food, water, and supplies to the U.S. Virgin Islands for people who cannot or do not want to leave their homes. One woman still on the island has strong ties to Detroit. She was supposed to be here last Friday for her daughter's wedding. Our Paula Tutman has been talking to her and her family in Detroit. And Paula, this is such an emotional time for everyone in that family.
Absolutely, because what we've all seen is that within a flash, an island paradise, rather, has become a desolate island. I mean, when you take a look at these videos, St. Thomas has been particularly hard hit. Today, the Red Cross actually told me it's working on mass distribution, but there is an access problem. Airfields and seaports are decimated, and getting help is a logistical challenge, and reliable communication, forget about it. After numerous attempts this morning, Kaylin's sister and aunt were able to speak briefly with her on a fragile connection established from our Local 4 studios.
Hi, Kaylin. How are you doing?
Getting harder and harder.
Hell in paradise. That is what Kaylin Risker-Foy is living each and every day in her recently adopted home of St. Thomas. With limited cell phone use, intermittent internet, and bits and pieces of Facebook messages, a picture of what life is like after Irma is emerging, and it is one of crisis.
When we stood in the line and they said that we have to come back every day and stand in the line, they were given 1 meal pack per family and 1 bottle of water, not like a gallon, but a small bottle of water.
Kaylin is a well-known and nationally recognized activist and advocate for abused women. The founder and executive director of Sisters Acquiring Financial Empowerment, or SAFE.
People didn't even know if we were alive or dead in Detroit. They were putting us on the list of missing people. It was horrible.
She has spent a lifetime helping others and now is in desperate need of help herself. When Irma blew through, she was weathering the storm in her house on the Virgin Island with her new husband and her 15-year-old daughter.
We had to leave out in the storm to go downstairs, and as we were doing that, a piece of the roof hit me and my daughter in the head, and we ran down and we hid in the closet.
Today, it is an up-at-dawn struggle to survive. Kaylin, her daughter, and her husband, Paul, all sustained injuries. They can't get first aid. They need a tarp to cover their house. They need batteries, toilet paper. It's raining. She's bailing water out of her house like a sinking boat and pulling water from beneath her house for essentials.
I pulled water out of our cistern to wash, to bathe with, and to try to clean.
Yeah, I haven't even asked about mom and dad memorabilia.
Just everything is ruined. I'm so sorry, Kaylin. I love you. I love you too.
You know, you can hear that desperation in her voice and with her family. You know what? I reached out to both the Red Cross and FEMA, and right now there is simply no way to get personal items to anyone on any of these Caribbean islands. It's just physically not possible. They're just cut off. There is a way for people who know Kaylin or who have worked with her. There is a way to help her. I'm going to put a link on my Facebook page, Local 4 Paula Tutman. It's a link to her PayPal page so that you can make donations that can help her get back on her feet sooner. Karen, here's the catch. When the stores reopen.
That is when, oh gosh, there's so much time then obviously for her to try to get these necessities. Paula, I wonder for Kaylin, was there ever an option of her getting off the island, or was the storm just came so quick and obviously was so costly to leave?
You know what, she tried. She actually had a flight out for her daughter's wedding the Friday before Irma hit. She wasn't able to get out. And also remember, they're not in Ohio. They can't just go up the freeway. They've got to get off that island. It is not easier said or done.
Well, our heart goes out to her, of course, and we'll follow her story and also all the information on your Facebook page. Thank you, Paula. In today's first forecast, the remnants of Irma are actually pushing some rain in our direction. So let's bring in Ben Bailey and see how that's affecting us over the next few hours.
Yeah, Karen, there's not much moisture down here to the south. In fact, we've got some rain just starting to come together here around north of Columbus. So even though we've seen a couple areas of drizzle and a light shower at times, we will be seeing a little bit more as we get later into the evening hours. Got plenty of clouds on top of us, and probably we'll see that through the nighttime too, and then gradually work some sunshine back in tomorrow. Temperatures pretty close to average, a little bit below with cloud cover, cooler than what we had yesterday, between 71 in Ann Arbor and 76 right now in Lapeer. But we've got a warmer weekend. Our last one of summer, believe it or not. We'll check it out in just a few minutes. Karen?
Don't forget, you can get weather alerts right on your phone on our Local Forecasters app. You can download it for free in your app store. Just search WDIV. Right now, we're following breaking news from Washington State, where one student is dead, at least 3 people wounded after a gunman opens fire inside a high school. You're looking at video of the scene at Freeman High in Spokane, Washington. Police reportedly took one suspect into custody. No word yet on the motive of the shooting or if that suspect is a student at the school. We're working the story and we'll bring you new information. Oakland University is sounding the alarm right now about a peeping Tom lurking in the campus showering areas. 2 female students say they saw a cell phone right above the shower curtain. Authorities describe the suspect as a dark-skinned man between the ages of 18 and 21, about 5 feet 9 inches tall. He was wearing gray sweatpants and a dark-colored shirt. We will have a live report with more on this story on Local 4 News at 6. Stolen, recalled cars are adding up to some big trouble for customers who may have thought they were getting a deal. The VW diesel vehicles were stolen from the Pontiac Silverdome parking lot where they were being stored. Indiana State Police say dozens of cars were given fake Michigan titles and then shipped out of state. New owners may not know the vehicles were recalled because of emissions issues. They're likely to lose the car and probably won't get their money back. Still ahead, a huge sporting event returning to the United States. We'll tell you about an Olympic-sized celebration. And one of the stars of Pitch Perfect accused a newspaper of trying to ruin her career. Today, the judge's verdict is in for Rebel Wilson. Up first, Hillary Clinton's book tour comes to NBC. She takes a jab at former FBI Director James Comey. We'll be right back.
Coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
He's a local athlete and coach who's turned his chronic illness into a source of inspiration. Coming up, see how Brandon Denson is helping local kids tackle their own challenges.
First at 4 continues with some of the stories making headlines across America. We start with former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton talking about a shocking loss to President Trump. On the Today Show, she was asked if former FBI Director James Comey cost her the election.
I believe, and I think the evidence shows, I would have won. Were there headwinds? Yes. Were there lots of other issues? And this whole interference by Russia is still an issue? Absolutely. But the role that he played historically was determinative.
You may recall then FBI Director Comey reopened the investigation into Clinton's emails 11 days before the November election. Clinton has released a book about the campaign and why she lost called What Happened. A California town known as a beacon for free speech is changing the rules and will allow police to use pepper spray. We're talking about Berkeley, California. Last night, the city council reversed a 20-year ban on pepper spray and will allow its use, but only on violent protesters. It will not be used just for crowd control. In the coming weeks, the university town will host some controversial conservative speakers, including former White House advisor Steve Bannon. 2 more Americans are aboard the International Space Station this afternoon. A space capsule carrying the 2 Americans and a Russian docked in outer space this morning. It took less than 6 hours to get from Earth to the space station, nearly the same amount of time to drive from Detroit to Chicago. The astronauts will stay on the space station for about 5.5 months. The party started early in Los Angeles, but it is now official. That city will host the Summer Olympic Games in 2028. Mark your calendars. Dozens of LA landmarks were lit up last night to show the city's Olympic spirit, including the Coliseum, the Getty Center, City and Santa Monica Pier, all glowed in purple, pink, yellow, and orange. The International Olympic Committee officially confirmed the decision this afternoon. The 2024 Games go to Paris. Los Angeles will host in 2028. Ben is back. It's hump day and lots of folks already looking towards the end of the week. And boy, we got some warmer temperatures on the way.
For good reason, yeah. The weekend looks phenomenal, but it is our last one of summer. So we're going to have to soak it all in as we get towards Saturday and Sunday. 73 is where we're at right now with cloudy skies outside. We've got a west-southwest wind at 10 miles an hour with expecting those winds to die down just a little bit as we head towards the end of the day. Let's take a look at the satellite picture right now, and you can see those clouds from Irma starting to stream up from the north, or from the south to the north, rather. Hadn't been a lot in the way of rainfall making it into Michigan. We've had a couple areas of drizzle and some light showers earlier today, and that's been about it. Also, we've got a radar outage here right around Detroit, so there may be some stuff that's actually falling that's not showing up on the radar right now, but nonetheless, it's going to be light if it does arrive, and you can see a little bit more of an organized push starting to move through northern parts of Ohio. So as we get into the evening hours, this is our most likely time to see showers, and then they'll probably start to wrap up as we get into the overnight hours tonight. So that's probably all you're going to see on the windshield driving home. That's from Phil out in Ipsy on Storm Pins. Appreciate that shot, Phil. And we'll be seeing lots of nicer pictures as we head towards this coming weekend, I'm sure. As far as the cloud cover and rain goes, that will start wrapping up as we get towards midnight tonight. So generally just cloud cover once we get past 12 o'clock. It's going to be tough to completely rule out a sprinkle until the remnants of Irma finally clear the area. In fact, the model tries to put a couple drops in tomorrow afternoon, but that's an outside shot. I think most of us are going to stay dry. little bit more peaks of sun than what we saw today, but still a good deal of clouds to get out of here by the time we get into Friday, which will be a lot sunnier than what we're expecting on Thursday. Here's a look at lows tonight, and we're still doing pretty good. Not in any of those 40s out there. It's all 50s and 60s. In fact, we'll be at 61 in the city for an overnight low. South zone lows will be generally here in the 50s, and our warm spots towards the lake still upper 50s there in Luna Pier and Monroe. West zone lows for tomorrow morning, generally mid 50s here, a couple upper 50s towards 275 in Novi and Canton. And in our north zone, we're looking at lows in the mid to upper 50s by tomorrow. Cloud cover keeping everything kind of in a tight range as we head towards daybreak on Thursday. High temperatures just a smidge better than what we saw today. We'll go to 76 in the afternoon. And again, it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds, a few more breaks of sunshine than what we saw in there today. And then the 80s start showing up for the weekend. 82 on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. Both days are going to be sun filled. And just for good measure, Mother Nature's going to throw in some humidity just to remind us it's summer. Then we get into next week, temperatures cool a bit, but that's our only shot of rain past anything that we get tonight. So most of the 7-day forecast, Karen, is dry.
All right, thank you very much, Ben. Still ahead, the grocery wars are heating up, and Christmas will come early for about 100,000 people thanks to a major retailer. We've got trending stories coming up. Also, her court case was no joke. One of the stars of Pitch Perfect says she's celebrating a victory over bullies, and she's won a lot of money. But first, as we go to break, take a look, and you can see how the markets have closed for our Wednesday. The Dow Jones down just 1 point. In today's trending stories, thanks to Amazon, Whole Foods is seeing a whole bunch of new business. That's according to the Foursquare app, which collected and analyzed that data. Amazon recently took over the grocery store and promised to cut prices on some popular items. Foursquare says foot traffic in Whole Foods has jumped 25% on average in the first 2 days following that takeover. Now, the big question, will shoppers keep coming back? We also have some big news from Target. The retailer says it plans to hire more than 100,000 temporary workers for the holidays. That is up some 77,000 in 2016 and averages out to be about 55 workers at each store. The temps will do things like stock shelves, help customers, and pack and load products. So if you're interested, you can apply online, and there will be recruiting events at Target stores in mid-October. So keep your eyes out for that one. Also, comic actress Rebel Wilson has scored a record-breaking win in a defamation lawsuit. The star of Pitch Perfect sued a tabloid in her home country of Australia. Wilson says the paper printed false stories claiming she lied about her background, and those stories cost her 2 movie roles. The judge agreed, awarding Wilson $4.5 million. Wilson has said this case is not about the money, but standing up to bullies. She said she will give the money to charity. The newspaper is considering an appeal. Well, speaking of charity, we do want to thank everybody who opened your hearts and made those big donations to the Help for Hurricane Relief Telethon. Once again, you showed Metro Detroiters are always willing to help people in need. Our day-long telethon raised $430,239. We worked with the American Red Cross and Art Van Furniture to provide for hurricane victims in Texas and Florida. If you still want to donate, you can find a link at clickondetroit.com. Still ahead, the story of one happy ending after Irma. A Florida couple decided to ride the storm out to care for some animals. You'll see why it was impossible to evacuate. We've got that story next.
Brother tried to fight his heroin addiction, but he lost.
I never think it's going to happen to you or affect your family.
Now Chris uses his day job to steer others away from opioids, heroin, prescription pain pills, fentanyl.
Not that I'm trying to just frighten people, but I hope they are scared, that they see the seriousness of this, that this is real.
His message of hope tonight at 11.
We talk a lot.
Finally, as Irma was barreling towards the Florida Keys, you might wonder why anyone would stay in the storm's path.
One Florida couple says they have 8 good reasons. They're dolphins. Philip Admiray is a director of zoology. His wife is a veterinarian. And they have 8 dolphins who are used as therapy animals.
So the couple hunkered down during the storm, secured the area as best as they could. And the good news, everyone is okay. The dolphins are safe and sound. Thank you so much for joining us for First at 4. We're back in a half hour with Local 4 News at 5. Inside Edition's next.